right, everybody, it's another episode of the Reserve Man Podcast. I'm Jake Brown. I got with me GP.
What's happening?
Shagari.
Say it loud.
What's up, Stan?
Proud to be black, y'all.
It is Black History Month. Why is it so important?
Cause it is, man. It just is, but it's year round, man.
We gotta talk about Killer Mike's docuseries on Netflix. Trigger warning. Watch episode 1.
That boy slept on a bench.
We gonna talk about Kamala Harris and the presidential race. We gonna talk about reparations. And we gonna give you how we're doing on our goals right after this.
You know your credit score bad. I'm not gonna file you on Starbucks. That's solid quality time. Right. Why is Steve Harvey still writing books? Wait a minute. So if I want you, I ain't saying you to Waffle House at 2 a.m. Cause you bullshit. Hey, look, if I care about you, we going to Waffle House.
Oh yeah, everybody, we back. What's up, fellas?
What's up?
What's going on?
What's up, brothers?
GP, Shag, what's up, brother?
Swing low.
All right.
Well, you come in here with the spiritual?
Yeah, man.
It's February, man.
Full of the hope that the dark.
Black History Month.
We back, baby. We are back.
LSU Gospel Choir, baby.
I remember that, man. I took that like 3 times.
No.
Got my A each time.
Every semester I was at LSU,
Well,
I took
actually,
gospel
no.
choir.
I think I messed around. I got a B in that one time.
How you get a B in
You
Gospel
didn't show up to
Choir?
the concert?
You was singing off.
That's what it
You was
was.
singing off key.
No, how you got a B in Gospel
I
Choir?
wasn't coming to the classes, or
Yeah.
I ain't show up for the concert.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
One of
Yeah.
these.
Probably didn't show up for the concert.
But Mr. Parker's from Donaldsonville, man. He always shows some love.
Well, work on that LA Fitness.
Mr. Parker? Mm-hmm. Man, I ain't seen that dude in years, man.
Well, it is February,
You know, it's my
fellas.
D-Ville people.
This is the first episode in February, so let me start with this. Why is Black History Month important? Why is it a thing? You know,
Why is it only a month?
well, some people would say that
I mean,
we're all Americans, so why do we need a Black History Month?
Well,
Because they don't teach our history.
that. And you can't have like a Black History
Who is
season
they?
or a Black History quarter. You know, I guess it's...
oh, and you could. I think well, I'm conflicted on it. I mean, I think it's important, but I think that if this makes it, it's important to the wrong people. Like, I feel like black people think that Black History Month is so important, like, to us, when in actuality, I think, in my opinion, we should be celebrating, like, every month like it's Black History Month.
This is true.
That's why I like on the podcast how we talk about the Black History figure every episode. I think that's how it should be with black people. I think that Black History Month should be important to other groups to learn about black history.
Well, yeah,
I think that's-
you definitely shouldn't be waiting all year round to learn something new about your own people.
You know, but that's why we celebrate Black excellence year round.
Because, I mean, what I think about like my school years, you know, when I was at a public school in elementary and it was pretty much a majority black school.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that was the only time in school that we really, really celebrated Black History Month. You know, we sang the anthem, you know, we talked about all the different people that had made great impacts throughout history that were black. You know, it was truly celebrated. But then I went to a middle school that was mostly black, but it was ran by white folks. And then I went to a mixed high school, private school, that's run by white folks that might have been like 60% white, 40% black. And black history was like kind of like a afterthought. It wasn't nothing that was taken that seriously. But that just highlighted the fact that it needs to be there. And, you know, black people just need to continue to celebrate it like all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like that's not the case.
What about you, GP? Why is Black History Month important to you?
Well,
He's going to bring up the Donaldsonville mayor thing.
nah, man.
They claim the fame.
But that was, you know, the first black man in United States history. Shout out to
Still
Perry
not.
Landry.
That is your
But,
go-to black fact that we haven't been able to verify.
Hey, man.
Still can't verify. Somebody made that on
Hey.
Wikipedia.
I sent y'all the article, man. Y'all gonna put some respect on my town, dog. Y'all gonna put some respect on my city. But nah, man, for all the reasons y'all just said, you know, I think about, I went to a predominantly white school, and, you know, everything everything I learned at the school about Black history was pretty much slavery, everything after slavery, like the 3/5 compromise, Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, a little bit of Malcolm X, but not really.
Like
a line of Malcolm X. And you mix in Harriet Tubman. You mix in a little bit of the Kennedys and what they did for Black people, and that was it.
Nah, they ain't
they wouldn't teach us. They wouldn't teach us
You can
that.
have a little bit. No,
We'll give you a little.
What they did. What they
give
said
you a little
was
Sojourner Truth.
They didn't make Nat
Not no
Turner.
Nat Turner.
They didn't make Nat Turner a hero. They made Nat Turner the one who started all the stuff.
I remember reading about Venmo Jesse, but not
in school.
We had a little bit of
in
that.
school. The names was Harriet Tubman.
Sojourner Truth.
Sojourner.
They even tell us about Sojourner Truth.
Yeah.
Not in school.
Okay.
That's something I have to go get on my own.
Frederick
Dr. King,
Douglass.
Frederick Douglass, Christmas Addicts, the guy who sued for his freedom and won, and that was about it. Like, so that's why Black history is so important. You know, the only thing that we did at my school was there was a Black leader in the community who had kids at the school. He'd come and give a speech about the ABCs of Black history every year, and that's where it started and stopped.
What about you,
what's
Shaq?
messed up? Nickelodeon taught me more about Black History Month than school. You don't remember what Nickelodeon say? Without blacks, there wouldn't be no cotton gin. They would list all the inventions.
Well, I never really watched Nickelodeon as a child.
Eli
What,
Whitney.
as a child, no, Eli Whitney, cotton gin, the stoplight, the washing machine. They listed all the black inventions.
that's
and I'm
cool.
like, whoa. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Schools
that's
didn't
pretty
really teach that.
But
You know.
but what I will say, I think that we look to
Other people to teach us about our own history instead of searching
like,
it for ourselves.
yeah,
I know where you're going with that.
the American education system to teach us about our own history. I remember my mom gave me this book. It might have been like 50 pages, but on each page it highlighted a Black history figure. So I butchered his name earlier, but it's actually Denmark Vesey, because my mom's from South Carolina, and he was I guess did a uprising back in the 1700s. And I remember that's the first time I read about him, Sojourner Truth, Malcolm X, and I was like 5 years old. But this is where I learned about.
That boy was a Panther at 5.
Nah,
You stupid, man.
But even Fred Hampton, like I learned about all these people at 5, and it kind of got reinforced when I was in elementary school up to 5th grade, and then after that, my schools weren't talking about it anymore. But thanks to my mom and my auntie, they always kind of reinforced and made sure that I at least read up on stuff that was dealing with Black history. And my auntie specifically always preached about more than just African American history. She was always on like Egyptian history and like South African, the Zulus and stuff like that. So I'm definitely appreciative of that.
I'm glad you said that, because the more I'm thinking about it, we did study the Egyptian history a lot, but it wasn't an emphasis that
That the
Egyptians were black.
Yeah.
Right.
It was romanticized.
Now, yeah, right.
Cleopatra
And we learned more about that than American Black history. We also learned about other things in history more so than Africans, because I can remember things like the ancient civilization of Sumer and the Persians and the French Revolution and all these other, European history that I was taught, but it wasn't enough of Black history.
But that's because if you read some books on European countries, colonizing Africa, they just deemed that we weren't civilized prior to Europeans arriving in Africa, which isn't true.
Right.
But I think that's one reason why is that all that history is just glossed over or not really mentioned, is because we, quote unquote, weren't sophisticated enough, I guess, to be mentioned in history. Even though we came up with pretty much everything.
Right.
Astronomy, math, written languages. But
Don't everything
Paper.
date back to Africa? Everything?
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
So no, I'm just saying that, so I don't get the disconnect of why there is so much hate between different races. Because essentially,
they were cutting the noses off.
because essentially everything comes from Africa, but that before Africa it was Pangea. So everybody from Africa.
What's funny is before I came here, I was over with a friend, and her daughter wanted my hat. I gave her my hat. She gave it back to me, but then she took it back. And she called her daughter an Indian giver. And then she said, why do we even say Indian giver? He ought to be European giver. They took everything.
How old is she?
That's funny.
Little girls, too.
2.
Damn.
Yeah.
Sister Soldier.
You ain't answer though, player. You always
He
answer.
stayed dodging the questions as the moderator.
I wasn't dodging the question. I was waiting for my opportunity.
Wish I was running in my role.
You know, somebody, wants to make sure that they shine. So I have to wait my turn.
Okay.
Who wanted to make sure they shine?
Me?
George.
You win about 3 times.
I mean, I was just involved in the conversation, brother.
Okay.
You know. I mean, it's a podcast, right? We sit here and
Be
talk.
careful. Don't let them hit you with that GP smile.
Hey, man, I'm not smiling
Look,
at that.
I think that,
I kind of feel played.
okay, I think that Black History Month is important. But it's only important if we take additional measures to make sure that we're teaching our children what they need to know. They're not going to get it from school. You know, I went to a private school from kindergarten through 9th grade. You know, we would spend 1 day a year talking about Black history. The 1 day fell during Black History Month, but that's all you got. That was it. You know, we got tons of people that's like, oh yeah, Martin Luther King holiday, and then they just sit at home and watch TV, eat
Speaking
snacks.
of, Donald Trump didn't even know MLK Day was already a holiday.
Shocking.
Talking about he declaring it a holiday.
Yeah, I'm not gonna talk about Trump.
It's not Orange History Month. It's Black History
So
Month.
I'm happy to see that they having like little board games and flashcards out now that has all these historical facts on them. You know, get your kids.
I actually bought a pack of cards. Like
Yeah, get your kids a set. You know, talk to your kids. You know, make a game out of it. Let's teach them about our history. We have a very rich history.
Right.
You know, black people, there's almost nothing you can do that's in this country where a black person didn't have a hand in it.
The world.
You know, well, yeah, I was talking about the United States, but you're absolutely correct.
Right.
You know,
'Cause that's one thing, I don't mean to, but that's one thing that kind of drives me up a wall is the fact that we only focus on slavery to the present.
yeah.
We never really talk about anything prior to slavery. And I feel like that's one reason why black people kind of have a disconnect with Africa.
We've always had imagination. We've always created things and came up with creative uses for things.
Right.
You know, people like, you know, like to call.
I think initially it's not a question of us not wanting to know. It's like, how can we know we were taken? And so after so many generations, it becomes hard to connect with something that you don't know. And
I
we
feel
wasn't
you.
really reading and writing because
Well,
all you
maybe-
had was stories to pass down. It wasn't really recorded.
But I guess to Jay's point, we might not be able to trace our own lineage because of that. But if we have all kind of European history and, you know, Asian history from centuries and centuries and centuries ago, and they teach us that in school. Why they don't teach us African history?
But that's also why I really hate the divisions, because for me personally, if you're black, you're my brother.
Right.
I don't care where your origin is from.
Right.
You know, if you are here and your parents actually came over here from Ghana, you know, and you know your whole complete history of your family because they came directly from here, or whether you're here via a slave ship and you have no idea where you originate from.
Right.
That doesn't matter to me.
Right.
You know, if we're all brothers, we're all black, and I get a sense of pride out of it.
Right.
And I hate when we put up divisions amongst ourselves. I saw a meme the other day where it was like, people from New Orleans don't consider it to be Louisiana.
Yeah, I saw that too.
And I'm like, we already have enough bullshit divisions amongst ourselves.
Right.
And you know, we've had several episodes talking about colorism
Yep.
and talking about hair and all this foolishness. Like, we're all black.
Right.
We're all brothers.
Right.
We can all celebrate each other. You know, collectively, we've made amazing contributions to the world
Right.
in everything from
Right.
literature to poetry
Science.
to science. You know, everything.
Mathematics,
Architecture.
engineering, architecture.
All across the board.
Man, Benjamin Banneker designed the place where the president is racially upcharging people and don't want people to be.
But I gotta bring up one thing. So I disagree with you on one point, Shag. You said that, you know, because, you know, we might not have known, you know, our history in Africa and the things weren't necessarily passed down to us. We were kind of taken from our lands. While I agree with that, I feel like to a certain point in time, like, black people knew their history, at least their, like, African American history. Whereas now, I feel like people just don't even know or have a true interest in their history.
I'm saying at some point it's a disconnect. Even back in slavery, you had these tales and you had these strong grandmothers and fathers saying this was your father's father and blah, blah, blah. But because we wasn't allowed to read and write, that was the disconnect. It's like, how do you record it? At what point?
Well,
And at some point, people stop caring, and when you start breaking
But I
up
think-
these,
but I think
when you
that
start
was-
breaking up these families, and they don't know where they come from.
But I think that was more recent, though. Like, I think
But-
up until, like, the 60s and 70s, people knew their history, at least African American history. I feel like after that is where we kind of, like, nowadays, like, our parents' generation, I feel like they cared more about black history than our generation cares about black history, and especially the generation after ours. I don't see people as passionate about our history or wanting to learn our history as much as, you know, older folks in our generation.
But therein lies part of the problem. We're so busy coming up with divisions amongst ourselves
Right.
that collectively we're not able to mobilize and get things done in the same way some of the other races and cultures are.
Right.
You know, we're not able to support each other.
They're going to pass down the knowledge regardless. They're going to pass down the company regardless. Black
Right.
people want to hold you to a higher standard. Like, you don't want it, so I'm not going to pass you the knowledge. Or
I
I see other races make them learn, regardless of what they have going on, or regardless of how you could be the most disappointing thing in the world. They might cut you out the wheel, but they're gonna tell you why they cutting you out the wheel, and they're gonna make you learn why it's important. This is our family history. This is our family wealth. This is why we do this. We don't do that.
Yeah, it made me think about a previous podcast. I know both of y'all mentioned it, where y'all had experiences with, like, older people in your profession, older black people in your profession, and they didn't want to really extend that hand, that helping hand, to really
No, they're not
show
gonna
you the
lift you up.
game and help you out. They were more worried about all right, this
Taking a
person-
part of their,
taking a part of their pie.
taking part of their pie.
Yeah, and
It's enough pie out here for everybody.
Right.
It's so true that there's enough business out here for everyone,
right,
especially if we prioritize each other.
right,
You know, it's that people get so caught up in what they've been fed because we don't know our history and how brilliant our people are,
Right.
and all the contributions we've made. You know, it's people literally walking around here thinking that I should go with the white lawyer
right,
or the Asian lawyer or whoever because they have a better knowledge base.
right.
You know, they're gonna be more skilled at what they're doing. You know, the black guy, he just probably gonna be just pulling somebody's ass. You know, and that's not true. You
Right.
know, Shag, for instance, you know, one of the best wedding photographers in the country.
Right.
What is it, top 3%?
People don't even know that top 3%. I
know.
look, and I stopped blaming it. I stopped blaming it on, cause I used to get hurt. I used to get really hurt by people I know going to others or going to somebody else that know me, and I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm not on my stuff. I have had some shortcomings in it. Sometimes I be too busy. Sometimes I have fell short. Sometimes I haven't had the best customer service, but it's because I blew up so quick that it started hurting me, and I had to start sliding back and stop accepting so many people. But I stopped taking it. I stopped getting butt hurt by people not, reaching out to me immediately. Because maybe they didn't know that I was top 3% in the nation of all wedding photographers in the U.S.
But somebody should want to support you.
But that don't mean everybody don't want it. And I looked at it like, oh, y'all messed up, instead of I had to go check myself, and it says maybe it's something I'm doing wrong to where I'm sending out some bad signal, or maybe I'm not handling business in the right way for them to approach me in the first place.
Well, it's a couple of things.
So I stopped trying to place the blame in the first place. I don't even try to guess why people don't deal with me sometimes when it's my people. But I have enough business to where I don't care anymore. So if you don't, that's on you.
Well, the thing
I
is,
know I'm still rocking.
a lot of us are first-generation business owners, you know, and we don't have assets, you know, coming into the game. So we don't have anything to use as collateral to get lines of credit or loans. So initially, we might not have the very nice office.
Right.
You know, we may not even have our own office.
Right. But that don't mean you can't
I
do
had to
good
meet
work.
people at coffee shops starting out. You know, that's what I had to do.
Right.
Whereas in other cultures, they might look out for the person that's trying to get in the game. Look, me come and work out of my office, meet clients out of my office. Don't worry about paying me right now.
Right.
Once you build up some clients and start getting some money coming in, then you can pay me, or you can move out, go get your own office. We can do something together, you know, whatever. You know, that's the kind of things that you have to do for each other in order to lift people up.
I'm going to tell you who lifted me. The only people that lifted me in the photography game that taught me stuff as black entrepreneurs were two black women. There's Danielle Finney out of D.C. And there's Sasha Matthews right here out of Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
But black men, nah, they wasn't having it. They're not teaching you nothing. They don't want nothing. The only man to embrace me and teach me something in the photography game have been white men. I'm going to tell you what made me go up on my prices.
People that don't feel threatened by you.
No, this white photographer here in Baton Rouge called me and told me, Shagari, you are not charging enough. Your work is phenomenal. Your work is on my level. You lost a customer because you don't charge enough. So she thought something was wrong with your work. He said, I'm going to take your customer today, but do yourself a favor and go up on your prices. And I'm looking like, that's real. That told me something. I have not, we're so distrusting of each other. We think that, you know, we're going to hurt each other by, you know, making referrals to each other and stuff. I refer, man, I got homies right now that I refer all the time for business. I don't feel like I'm going to be hurt by somebody in the same business as me. I want as many allies in that business as I can have, because I only do weddings and engagements. If I know you a bomb at this, I'm going to send this person to you. If I know you do this, I'm going to send this person to you. We got to stop thinking that me. Actually, sending you referrals can, you know, it can do more for you than trying to take everything you can when you don't really care about it.
Well, that's because we don't do a good job of sticking together. You know, I saw a meme the other day, and I think this is so true, where somebody said, I want friends that still root for you even if you've passed them up. So meaning that I feel like a lot of us, black people in particular, we only root for people who we feel like are beneath us or don't have as much as us. And then once that person level up, it's almost like we mad. You know, it's like almost like we jealous. And I feel like
I don't feel like I'm on a level to be hated on.
But I mean, that's because you see the way you're talking. You're not talking like a lot of other people are talking. You know, you're supportive, and we don't do a good job of supporting each other, and we should. Well, and that's the problem overall, not just with business.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Okay.
But first, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with more right after this.
You know your credit score bad. I'm not gonna that's solid quality time. Right. Why is Steve Harvey still writing books? Wait a minute. So if I want you, I ain't saying you to Waffle House at 2 a.m. Bullshit. I care about you. We going to Waffle House.
All right, everybody, we're back. Look, man, we having a big black, pro-black conversation today.
Big black.
Blackity black. Black. Now they got that commercial now where it's like free. Where it's black
But the way
today.
you just started off so strong, I thought you was about to describe a Pornhub title or something.
What? Nah, man.
Nah, see, you went somewhere else.
Yeah.
But what's this question you got?
GP.
Yo.
Oh, it's
Before
only for GP?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, y'all could tune in, but he was the one that was talking about it, so I'm bringing it to him first. You know, he was talking about we not supporting each other. Why do you think we don't support each other?
I don't know. I don't know if it goes back, generations. I'm not sure where that comes from, but I feel like black people more than other people have a crab in the barrel mentality, to where we don't support each other. Kind of like to your point, we rather give business to somebody else outside of our community, and sometimes it's because we think that person might do better work, even though we're capable ourselves. Or sometimes it's just because we don't want to give each other the business because we don't want to see somebody who look like us excel or do better than what we feel like we're doing.
Do you think that part of it could be that we stunt more than some other cultures do? Like, I gave him my money and I'm riding around in a Accord and he riding around here in a Benz kind of thing.
Well,
Do you think that some of that is resentment because of the flamboyance that some black people tend to have?
well, I feel like people who are financially who've accumulated enough success to where their finances dictate that they're going to drive a luxury vehicle or going to drive a luxury vehicle no matter what race you are. Now we might put bigger rims on it, but we still drive luxury vehicles.
Stan.
I'm ready to hop in here.
Stan, why don't black people support each other from a business standpoint?
One word, integration.
Okay.
I say it's integration because when we were segregated, we were forced to rely on each other.
Mm-hmm.
We were forced to maneuver and come up with genius ways of surviving. So whether that was having a business or taking up a trade, whatever it might have been, we had to rely on each other. When integration came around, we had black flight. We always say white flight, but we had black flight. Black people trying to escape our neighborhoods to go to the quote-unquote better houses or to get to better schools, this, that, and the other. And once the best and brightest of our communities left, it kind of, to me, messed up our community. So where we don't rely on each other, and to me, that just made us more distrusting of each other over the years. But I blame integration.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely agree with you that integration kind of was the start of a lot of the black businesses that we had within our communities. Those businesses going away.
Right.
But that distrust that you're talking about, do you have any possible causes, like just in your opinion,
No,
as to why it exists, like how that developed?
But I still blame integration because, first let me say this.
But what?
I'm not saying integration was an all-out bad thing. I just think that yes, we should have the right to live wherever we want to live. I just think that black people should have stayed in their own communities and just had the ability to go wherever they wanted. But as far as answering your question, the reason why I think it's like that is because when we were segregated, we didn't have anything. So a lot of times, I don't know if it was that video, like how to control, it was like some shopping video about how to control the black man or whatever.
We won't.
But wait, let me finish.
How to sell to the Negro.
How to sell to the Negro.
Yeah.
We always wanted those things that we couldn't have, and a lot of those things that we couldn't have are always white. So I think that once integration hit, we still had that same type of mentality that, quote unquote, the better things were always white. So if I need a doctor, if I can go to a white doctor, I'm going to go to a white doctor. If I can get a white CPA, I'm going to go to a white CPA. I can get a white lawyer, I'm going to go to a white lawyer. I think that mentality was entrenched.
So you think the desire to live, I guess, the white man's lifestyle,
Yeah.
ended up causing us to give them more credibility than we would to certain black people that's doing the same thing.
Right.
Ooh, that's
It's
deep.
your hottest. It's your hottest in
deep.
everything. Having what the white man had was desirable because that was quote unquote the American dream.
Yeah.
Because we went.
That was the standard.
As soon as you was able to own something, you need to own something like the white man. You need
Right.
the big house like the white man. You need the doctor that the white man has. You need the labels that the white man is wearing. You need these European designers that people are paying more money for because this is the dream. So people setting the standards of what the dream was and paying more money for stuff that became the standard of what success was. And so because you want to be more successful, then the black standard wasn't no longer success. The mom and pop black store where you can get the person, where you can walk in and know the person that's providing you the meat. That's no longer the standard. That's no longer desirable. You don't where you know the person who's making your clothes. That's not desirable. People wanted stuff that wasn't accessible to them.
It makes me think about that Eddie Murphy comedy special where his mama fixes him the burger.
The bell pepper burger.
And he like, I don't want this big bell pepper burger. I want McDonald's.
But it's true though,
You're
man.
actually getting a better burger, but you still want McDonald's.
Exactly. It's true. I mean,
The welfare bell pepper burger.
Yeah.
like you know, it's interesting. Like I think about like education, like and what kind of happened to HBCUs. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people were just wanted to run the PWIs, or they wanted to have the access to those schools, which isn't wrong, but it seemed like we also kind of abandoned some of our HBCUs, and yeah, I think that just that mentality has just been entrenched in us. And
Well,
I don't think it was completely abandoned.
Well,
I think
there are-
it's the fine line of people fought for them rights. So of course you kind of felt like some people had to, some people wanted to, because in a sense you was fighting for equality. So
that's true.
all that would have been in vain. But I understand what you're saying that.
That don't mean we
is
had to
that
leave our
every-
communities.
Yeah.
I mean, like to me, like
Well, I think it's interesting. I know you've talked about it before, and that's why it sticks out in my mind. You know, like here in Baton Rouge, we have a lot of quote-unquote hoods,
right.
but we don't have a lot of communities for like middle class and above
Right.
black people,
Right.
where the majority of the people living within the community are black. You know, a lot of the upper middle class and so on, you know, they live in neighborhoods where the majority of their neighbors don't look like them.
Exactly. I mean, the majority of my neighbors don't look like me.
But let's tie this in with the next topic.
Okay.
So I hit all y'all fellas up earlier today because I watched this episode of Killer Mike's trigger warning. And I thought it was really interesting that in the first episode, he tried to go 72 hours while traveling to where he traveled Tennessee.
Well, he was going to Athens,
Georgia.
from
Athens,
Atlanta.
Georgia.
Like an hour from Atlanta.
Right.
You know, and during that 72 hours, he wanted to utilize all black products. So, black food, black clothing,
The car he drive.
black
He bought some
Transportation.
transportation, shelter,
product.
wipe your butt.
Right.
And he was struggling, man. He was really struggling. Like, even before he left Atlanta, he was struggling.
Right.
You know, there was nothing in his refrigerator that he could use.
That was black. That was provided by a black person.
In Atlanta?
Yeah.
Nothing in Atlanta?
Like he found a grocery store that I think a guy from the Nation of Islam owned.
Right.
Mhm.
And the food came from a black source.
But look, he
But
got a
even-
can of food, but he didn't have a black-owned can opener. so
But
he-
even the grocery store that he found looked
Right.
poor.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, it was hurting in there.
Right.
You know.
It looked like a gas station, kind of like that little convenience store feel,
Like bodega.
but it had groceries in it.
Yeah, it's more like a Circle K.
Right.
Yeah.
You know. And it was intriguing because they showed some statistics. Do you have those at hand? Like how long the dollar stays in
Yeah.
some of those other communities?
So Killer Mike was basically pointing out, and the reason why he took on this challenge, he was trying to keep the black dollar in the black community. But in comparison to other groups, they say like the Asians keep their dollar in their own community for 28 days. I think Jewish people do it for 21 days, and white Americans do it for 23 days. And black folks only do it for 6 hours.
That's crazy.
So that in itself is just like insane. So it was crazy or not crazy, but it's interesting to see Killer Mike try to take on, like, okay, I'm only going to buy black or keep all my dollars in the black community for 72 hours. And he struggled. He almost starved.
You know, the most eye-opening scene to me, my bad, and it was the one where he was in the barbecue place, and it was a black-owned barbecue place.
But the meat came from a white farm.
But the meat came from a white farm, and he couldn't eat it.
No, the thing that struck me the most was him having to sleep on a park bench because he couldn't find anywhere to stay that was black owned.
Right.
Well, was the bench made by a white?
Well,
Was it made by a black
he said
person?
America.
He couldn't even on the ground.
It came from everybody's taxes.
Right.
It was public property.
Yeah, so I guess black people helped pay for that.
Yeah, his quote was, "America was built on the backs of black people," so he figured that was okay.
Right.
That's what he said.
So I just find that incredibly intriguing that 6 hours is the limit of how long we can hold on to a spent black dollar within our community. I know for me, we are 1 full month. Today is January 31st into 2019. And as I'm sitting here thinking about it, the only money that I put into the black community is an invoice I paid to have my W-2s, W-9s sent out to my accountant. That's Pruitt Tax Service, y'all.
Holla at our girl Keisha.
That's the only pro-black money I've spent in 2019 that I can think of.
So let me think about what I've in 2019. I have.
My barber and my hairdressers.
Okay.
I bought some Shea
I did go
Moisture
to
products.
barbershop.
I got some beard products
Yeah.
from Shea Moisture. Some facial wash from Shea Moisture. I paid you some. That was in December though.
Yeah, you paid me last year.
You
gotta pay me this year if you want to be pro-black, Stan.
But are we trying to do what Mike was trying to do, or
No.
we just trying
We're
to?
just trying to see how many times we've paid.
Yeah,
black
that's
vendors.
I'm not trying to put it on that level of extreme.
Right.
Okay.
I'm just saying that I think, I went and got my beard lined up once,
Yeah.
and I paid my accountant,
Right.
who's black.
All right.
But other than that, that's in 31 days.
Right.
I haven't spent any money with the black community.
Yeah. So when I watched the is it a docu-series? Is it considered a docu-series or it's just a show?
I guess you would consider it a docu-series.
All right, so yeah, watching Killer Mike show Trigger Warning, that first episode, you know, it made me sit back and think like, can I like duplicate what he's doing? And I thought about, okay, where do I spend money with black-owned companies? So, you know, if I need photography services, I'm going to Shagari.
Yeah.
If I need a lawyer, I got Jay and Conde. Keisha's the accountant; she handles the business taxes and stuff like that. Go to Shea Moisture for business. I mean, for beard products and stuff like that. But I mean, outside of that, I can't really think of anything. I had a black doctor at one time, but he didn't have a concept of being on time. So I would show up at my appointment at 10. Homeboy wouldn't see me till 11:30.
So my surgeon next week is black.
I
was drunk about that.
All right.
But your direct deposit go to a white bank like us.
Yes, but I've been saying it for a minute. I need to go open up an account at Liberty Bank account or Liberty Bank. So
we
black-owned banking.
All right, y'all. We got the reserve man homework. Within the month of February, we have to put some kind of money in a black-owned bank.
And if you out there listeners know some black-owned companies that we should be,
Well, look, I'm gonna tell them on the show, and I actually get emails from them, and I'm kind of ashamed of myself because I don't really scan through the emails to go to their website. But there's a website called We Buy Black, and basically they list out. If you looking for like toilet paper or paper towels, they will find a company that provides that. With soap, anything. Killer Mike had detergent. Was black owned.
We are gonna start posting periodically throughout the week.
Right.
Just a product you can get from somebody black.
Right.
Like, let's not just black history is all fine and well.
But you gotta support the black.
But we have to support black people in the present too.
Right.
We gotta look at the future of our communities.
Economics.
And-
Economics is important.
Yes. And, economics is how you become a stakeholder.
Right.
You don't have no power if you don't have your economics in order, your finances.
Right. But yeah, I do want to do a better job of trying to buy black more often, because honestly, that episode made me like somewhat ashamed. I can't even lie. Like, damn, I could do a much better job of at least putting forth the effort to buy more black.
Well, look how we struggled just now when we were talking about what we did in the black community this month.
Well, I do stuff in the black community now.
No, I'm talking about like economically.
I
We know you volunteer and stuff, bro.
Yeah, we talk financially right now.
Right,
I mean, I'm not expecting anybody to drive 2 hours to go grocery shopping. We're not trying to be unreasonable. All we saying is, go to We Buy Black. I think that Diddy and Jay-Z are putting together a site.
Yeah.
In the process of getting that together, so that you can also find black businesses. Mm-hmm. But this week, y'all, find you one local black business.
And go support them.
Or even if it's not local, even if it's online, just find one product that you use routinely where you can put that money in a black company's pocket.
Right.
Just one.
One product, y'all, that's all.
All right, everybody, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with more right after this.
You know your credit score bad. I'm not that's solid quality stuff. Right. Why is Steve Harvey still writing books? Wait a minute. So if I want you, I ain't saying you to Waffle House. That's where you bullshit. I care about you. We going to Waffle House.
Yeah, we are back. Man, we just had like a very interesting discussion. I really hope that y'all think a lot about what we just discussed. And I hope sincerely that you participate in our challenge for you to find one black product from one product from a black-owned company that you can routinely buy this week. Hopefully it's local. If not, it can be online. But let's support black businesses. Let's do that.
I want to throw one other thing. Go watch the Killer Mike docu-series, Trigger Warning. Go watch the first episode.
It's on Netflix.
Go watch the first episode on Netflix.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's very eye-opening. So we're going to slide into this next topic. 2020's steadily approaching.
Yes, sir.
Presidential race. Mm-hmm. And there are already, I want to say I saw about 4 women. 2 of them were women of color, I believe, that are running for president. They're already announcing it.
Right.
One of them is Kamala Harris.
Yep.
What do y'all think about Kamala Harris? What do you think about her potential to actually seriously become the Democratic candidate, given the scrutiny that she's been under this week about her record as a prosecutor? Do you think someone black that had a job as a former prosecutor and in some role had a responsibility with putting people in jail, for a long time? A lot of them minorities, black.
I don't think the problem is the question of her putting people in jail, because that's a problem. If people mess up, people need to go to jail. But I think her methods of keeping people jailed are what's under scrutiny.
Well, the thing is, a district attorney has great power because they set the policy. So they set the tone for like how the rest of the prosecutors handle things. So in there are situations where they could charge you with the lesser crime, or the crime that carries the more significant amount of time, that has the greater impact on your life. Right. A felony will impact you much greater than a misdemeanor.
Right.
So I'm just speaking generally right now. This doesn't apply to her directly. So even though it's her job to prosecute and participate in the justice system, how she participates can have a profound impact on the life of the person that's the defendant. And I think that's what all of this is stemming from. You hear that, like, same thing with judges, how you hear, oh, he's a law and order judge. Those are judges that give the stiffer sentences.
Right.
It's the same thing with them. They can bring the more serious charges. They can offer you probation. Or they can say, we're only offering you jail time. You take this time or you go to trial.
Well, from what I've read, I heard she was fairly balanced. Yeah, she might have been tough at times, but it's easy for us to sit on this side and say that you was too harsh on people. At the same time, you forget, as a district attorney, you the first person these families looking at for justice when they family members are victims.
Mm-hmm.
And do you want a district attorney that's gonna sit there and give somebody a slap on the wrist for killing your brother, your sister, your mother, whether it was by hitting them with a gun or by selling them a drug or opiate that killed them? So they have these family members stressing them. Not only did you mess up and do wrong, you know there's consequences for that. So I don't really get the. I understand that sometimes there's too harsh of punishments on our people, but there's consequences for every action you take. You can't sit up there and conduct yourself in criminal activity and say, you charging me too greatly. You knew that was the case. Whether it was a black woman, whether it was a white judge, you knew that it's a possibility they're gonna come down on you. And I'm not excusing her at all, but there's two sides. And from what I've read, she's been fairly balanced on both sides. She's been harsh on sometimes, and she's been for reform.
Right.
So I'm not gonna sit here and say that we can. It's way too easy to sit here and say that she's too harsh on crime, being that she's for reform and she has to come down on people, especially when there's families of victims in your face wanting justice.
Well, let me clarify a couple things. Nobody's saying that here. That's just what's been in the media. So I'm just putting it out there for you guys to talk about it.
Right.
Yeah, I wasn't necessarily saying you, brother. I'm addressing the media and the people and the black community that's not wanting to go for her or get behind her because she's had some strict policies when it comes to us.
And but the second thing is you also have to take into account that everybody's guilty until proven to be, innocent until proven to be guilty. So in the charging stage,
in this day and age, you kind of said it right the first time.
Well, yeah. Well, we all,
Especially in
guilty
the
until
this climate,
perception.
well, we all know that, because I had this very conversation with somebody 2 nights ago, a young lady, and she literally said that guys like the Chris Brown situation should have to prove their innocence. And I said, no, what are you talking about? That's contrary to our entire
But that's how some of them
criminal justice system. You should never have to prove your innocence.
Right.
That burden is on the person that wants to put you in jail.
Right.
And if you didn't do it, how are you supposed to prove that it didn't happen?
Right.
Said it on last week's podcast.
Like, if you don't even know what somebody's talking about when they accuse you of something, how are you supposed to prove that it didn't happen?
Hey.
What were you doing on this very day 3 years ago, GP?
Couldn't tell you. No idea.
And you know who could tell you where they was on that very day? Somebody that's guilty and needs an alibi right away.
Because something is true. Yeah.
Because they know what they was doing and they got an alibi for what they was doing.
Something out of
3
the
years
ordinary
ago.
happened on that day.
Right.
And that's why you remember it.
Yeah,
But I'll dive in. I know some people, they talk about how to pronounce her name correctly. Is it Kamala or
Kamala?
Kamala. But anyway,
I don't know. Well,
I'll just say
we've been calling her Kamala. So
Kamala Harris. I like her. I think that she has what it takes to be a good candidate. Do I think that she realistically has a chance? No, not at all. But
Why not?
why not?
Because we are our own worst enemy.
I think in this climate, like after what Barack experienced, I don't see America voting for her.
It's to piggyback off of what you said. They hated white women, white men hated the idea of a white woman being president.
Well, no. I will say, from talking to some white women, their issue with Hillary wasn't the fact that she was a woman.
She let Bill womanize her.
You know, she wasn't the hero they wanted.
But,
all right,
just playing devil's advocate though. So you saying that because of her, you know, Hillary's marriage to Bill,
they would vote.
That made her seem weak, right?
I see Trump getting in office again before a black woman, just based off of America's climate and based off the hate that America has shown us.
Yeah, let's not rehash the Hillary thing. Let's talk about.
But what I'm asking is, if that's how America felt about Hillary, and that's why they didn't vote for her, being that she has shown a history of being stern and making tough decisions, you don't think that would make her a better candidate?
Hillary wasn't.
You see what I'm saying?
Forget all that. Hillary wasn't about Bill. The fact of the matter was, Hillary was a woman.
So
a minority.
So America's just not ready for a woman president.
Hillary was a minority candidate after a minority president, Barack Obama, and the climate was already rocked.
I disagree
you don't
with
think
that.
any woman has a chance to win?
I disagree with that.
I mean, at this point. Because Elizabeth Warren and a couple of other people are on the hat in the ring as well.
Well,
Hillary was clearly a better candidate. Hillary had some stuff with her,
but the thing is,
she was 10 times better than Trump.
But there was issues with Hillary. Hillary wasn't personable at all. Like she was like a robot. Like nobody could really relate to Hillary. Like I thought by far she was a better candidate, but she was not relatable. She was stiff.
She wasn't the charmer that Bill and
Barack
was.
Like,
I'm not comparing her to Barack. I'm comparing her to the worst case scenario, which is Donald Trump.
But the thing is, nobody liked Hillary. Like even Democrats didn't like Hillary. Like they knew she was a better candidate, but people just didn't like her. Like Trump riled up his base, and the thing is, Democrats are splintered. You still had Bernie Sanders running in the race, buku late. You know what I'm saying? Hillary.
And there's a lot of people who wanted Bernie Sanders that didn't vote at all.
So that even though Hillary won the popular vote,
right?
You know,
let's not forget that she did win the popular.
She won the popular.
She was done when she lost her own state.
Yeah, but but going back to Kamala, I don't think America. Like I don't think that she would do as well from a popular vote standpoint as Hillary.
I don't think she would. Because when I get on social media, I see so many black women against her because of her reform and her issue. Yeah, man.
Well,
so
I heard another.
It's a lot of black women and black men on social media like she's canceled. Like even before the race, they like, nah, we don't even want to consider her.
Well, see, but that's the thing about social media, because I heard another rumor that carries a very negative connotation with it in the black community. I'm not going to put it out there because, as far as I know, it's just a rumor right now.
Right.
But part of the problem with social media in general, one, it can be a great and useful tool.
Right.
It's brought a lot of light to these police shootings.
Right.
Police shootings didn't just start happening within the last 2 years or 3 years. Like, they've always been happening. It's just that the traditional media wasn't picking those stories up.
Right.
But with the smartphones catching more things, as it happens, and people having access to post it themselves. They don't have to call the news station and try to get them a copy of the tape. They can just post it.
Right.
Now everybody's had to kind of jump on board. But the negative side of that is when public opinion makes up their mind, and they often make up their mind before all the facts are released. It could be very damaging for somebody.
That's true.
All of these candidates, everybody has something in their past. We know that Bill was always very promiscuous. He was a whoremonger. We know that Barack did drugs. He admitted as much. everybody has something in their past. You know, so if there are gonna be issues like her prosecutorial record, I'm glad that those issues are coming out now.
Early.
People are starting to look into it now. We can address it now, but before it really matters.
But I mean, if that's the skeletons in her closet, to me that makes us sound like one hell of a candidate. If that's all she got to worry about.
Yeah, I mean, I think she's a good candidate, but I don't think that she's going to realistically win.
Well, that's a serious allegation for somebody that's running on criminal justice reform.
Right.
You know, that it's not about the thing itself. It's about looking like a hypocrite.
Right.
No, I see what you're saying.
You know,
That makes sense.
if you come along saying you want to help people and shorten sentences and get rid of the unfairness in the justice system,
Right.
but
This is where everybody got it messed up. Reform doesn't mean weak. And she got to have some belief somewhere. Because if you just let everybody off that did something, then the crime just going to get worse. If there was no consequences, or she held people accountable for violent crimes and for harsh drug sentences and all that, then it's only going to get worse.
But I don't think people had issues with that. Like, one of the issues was that she kept people in jail even after they were proven innocent. It's stuff like that. So, I mean, I agree with you in the fact that she had balance. So she had some blemishes on her record. She had some positive things on her record. You know, I don't think that her record should be able to keep her down, or black people shouldn't be like, oh, I just dismiss her already because she has some blips on her record. Everybody, like Jay said, everybody has blips on their record. I just don't think that she's a realistic candidate to win, and I think that's even more so the case. It depends on, like, who runs. Like, if Joe Biden runs, she don't have no chance.
I'm not saying that she should win, but I'm just saying people shouldn't harp on the fact that she was doing a job that, if you was in the same situation as family members of victims, then you would want justice, period.
But I think you're overlooking certain stuff. Like, I don't think people were necessarily mad that she was putting people in jail. I think people are mad for certain things. Like, if somebody's proven innocent, why are you keeping them in jail? Like that. I don't care what the family say at that point. If somebody's proven innocent.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's going to be a lot more information that comes out. Because these things really have to be looked at on a case-by-case basis.
Yeah, I don't have the information for that and what exactly happened
with
that one and what kind of case it was. But even,
there's so
but there's
much
even
between,
But where your girl in jail at? The one that's finally getting clemency.
It's Georgia.
There is a period.
No, that's Florida, isn't it? Is that Florida or Georgia?
But there is a period to, even after you're proven innocent, that you have to be.
It was Tennessee. You talking about the
Tennessee?
Centonia, whatever her name is.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know why those
Tennessee.
periods. I don't know why those periods are so long. But they letting her out of jail. They even announced that they're letting her go free, and she's doing like another 8-9 months in jail after they announced that she was eligible to go free.
Well, no, but that's one thing. But they said that Kamala was fighting for keeping people in there. Like, I understand that once somebody says you don't automatically just go free that day. Like, there's a process, and you might not get out till months later, But, yeah.
You know what's crazy? And I'm not disagreeing with any of your points because y'all making some good points. I find it just crazy that we discussing qualified candidates and why they don't have a shot while Donald Trump is sitting in the White House right now.
Well,
it's just crazy.
GP, he's a white man in America.
I mean, but damn.
I mean, but you know why he's in office.
Like I said, I'm not arguing with you. I agree with you.
Right.
But just to put things in a nutshell, that's insane if you really think about it.
Let me say this. I personally hope that she does get a shot. I can't think of anything that give me greater pride than having an opportunity after voting for Obama to vote for a black woman.
Right.
So that would be awesome.
After you hear her policies and her platform and what she's about.
Well, I was about to say that. I would never just vote for somebody just because they're black.
Right.
Or a woman.
Right.
Like, your policies politically have to line up with how I feel about things.
And if that was the case, you'd be pulling a Trump, voting for somebody because they're white and a man.
Oh no, man! I got into it with somebody before at a rally for Obama because they were a local pastor in the community, and they went right up there and said, you should vote for Obama because he's black.
Right.
And I was the next speaker after him. And I went right up there and I said, do not vote for Obama just because he's black.
And I'll say this: I don't think white folks just voted for Trump simply because he was Trump.
No,
white.
I'm saying the
Republican
ones that came
candidates
out,
white.
that's how they feel in a sense. They identify with it.
Well, I think
They identified with Trump the person. I'm not gonna say they because Hillary was white. They just didn't identify with Hillary.
Well, hold up a second, because we got another big issue that we got to talk about. And that is Miss Marianne Williamson, who's proposing.
You gotta say she's running for president.
She's also running, and I watched a little video on her today where she was proposing $100 billion in reparations to the black communities.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
her plan was flawed,
to say the least.
Now, from what I gather from looking at this, now she's not just talking about going out here and dividing it up amongst
all black people,
the one-drop black people. She's talking about creating a panel of qualified black people,
whatever that means,
to disperse the funds in a way, in such a way that it benefits the different communities.
However they deem,
at a rate of $10 billion per year over a 10-year period.
Nah, I'm good.
Yep.
I'm good. I'm good. No, I want the reparations. I just don't want it the way she described it.
I'm not gonna be too critical of this yet because
You need to hear more.
this is something that she was just kind of spitballing. There would have to be so much more detail.
Well, let's appreciate the fact that she wants to give reparations.
Right.
I appreciate the fact that this is something she thought about. Unfortunately, it's not going to be something that's very popular
With half the
with
majority of the country.
The country as a whole.
Right.
It'll be popular with some. And even amongst the people it should be popular with, they're not going to like it either because they're not getting a check individually.
Right.
But, I mean, it is a very interesting way of thinking. We know that certain communities, families, benefited from things that happened 300-400 years ago, policies that and laws that were in effect throughout the 1900s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, so I see where she's coming from with this. There's not enough detail laid out for me to really be critical of it at this point.
Yeah, I disagree. I can be critical of it because based off what she said, that just ain't gonna work for me, dog. Like, you gonna come up with a panel of black leaders to then let them decide how to divvy out the money? Nah.
What's the selection process for these black leaders?
Well,
we just gonna hand pick some black leaders?
Well,
I wouldn't.
That's why I said
It's too subjective. Like, I wouldn't do it. And if it was me, like, I would designate the money for certain things automatically. Like, if you need your school loans paid off, cool. If you need to go to college, cool. You need to go to trade school, cool. If you
I would use the money to pay off black debt.
Right.
I would start with student loans.
But I wouldn't just write a blank check to all black people either, because our spending habits as a whole aren't the best.
It'd be like that Chappelle show
but it can only, but it got to be capped at some point, So like, if you a neurosurgeon and you have $300,000 in student loan debt, I'm not going to pay off the whole $300,000.
Right.
But you should receive some kind of benefit up to a certain point. But like I said, we need so much more detail, and it had to be very, very specific.
If you divided 100 billion, let's say it's 40 million black people in America, that's $2,500 per person.
Yeah, yeah.
Not much.
Yeah.
Not much.
Hey, you're splitting the black vote again.
Yeah.
So
you ain't lying, because they gonna have some people that's gonna get reparations and just vote for.
Well, it's still early. It's still early in the game. Some of these people may not make it to 2020.
Right.
So we'll see. Y'all, we're gonna take a quick break, and then we're going to get into some really interesting things right after this.
You know your credit score bad. I'm not gonna lie, you on the Starbucks. That's solid quality time. Right. Why is Steve Harvey still writing books? Wait a minute. Like, if I want you, I ain't say you to Waffle House at 2 a.m. You bullshit. Hey, look, I care about you. We going to Waffle House.
All right, everybody, we're back. Look, we are exactly 1 month in to 2019. You know, Shag Ruffin, I know you mentioned that you worked on the vision board.
I haven't yet.
or planning to.
We were supposed to the first week of the year, but you know, my girl away doing some work for her organization, her company, the Rockets, and all that. She's been having to teach classes, and I have to wait for her to do it.
But did you have something like, you know, that you thought of, kind of laid out in your mind already?
Yeah, I completed one of my first goals was to get licensed. Now a licensed real estate agent.
Congratulations,
in Louisiana.
brother.
Holla at your boy.
Congrats.
Big ups.
Okay, everybody. If you're looking to buy a house once you get this tax refund,
Hit up Shag Ruffin.
once you get your down payment in order, hit up Shag Ruffin.
Shout out to my broker, Tarek, you know, held your boy down. She said as soon as I get it, I was going to do it, and she, you know, she kept her word.
Shout out to the closing queen.
So that was one of my goals because, I want to have more than one income coming in. I've always had more than one income, but I want to have multiple income streams.
Yeah.
And I want to learn a lot about everything. So that was one. Of course, being a better father, continuously spend more. So that was one of the things I kind of want to.
Yeah.
My studio's opening up in March.
What like for, you know, people out there that don't know, like, so what kind of things have you done to, I guess, level up, like, to get better at being a father? Like, is there any books you've read or any advice you have for somebody else that has that goal?
My boys are getting older, so I've always had a pretty brutal schedule. So as they're getting older, being a better father to me is spending more time. So I've had to
Create better work-life balance.
Create better work-life balance and create other income streams to where I can step away from my main thing and have it running self-sufficiently, so where I don't have to necessarily be there and I can spend, because I'm a wedding photographer.
Yeah.
All my time is on the weekends.
Okay.
They're in school.
Uh-huh.
So our schedules kind of clash. So I'm stepping away. I have people in place to where I don't have to work everything. I don't have to do everything myself to where I can go,
That's awesome,
go
man.
step away and kick it with them.
No, it's awesome that you've reached a place in your career where you're bringing in help. You know, a lot of times we can't grow as businesses because we too worried about who else gonna get some money. Like, we want all the money for ourselves.
Nah, you can have the money.
So, you know,
you can have the money. I want the time.
You can't grow and expand as a business, and you can't do other things you value in your personal life if, you know, you're dead set on getting all the money. Like, the only way you can do that is by delegating some of that work. So that's awesome, man. We happy to hear about that, brother.
Oh, yeah.
What about your relationship life, man?
Oh, that's lovely, man. I got a good girl, not trying to lose that, not gonna do anything to jeopardize that. I mean, she's lit. Like, we just mesh well. It's perfect.
Shag Ruffin's girl is from Monroe, y'all. I just want to put that out there.
I gotta be telling these people my girl background. I ain't about to go Google her and,
My bad.
I already
man.
did the
I'm just Monroe proud.
But to say, man, there's a lot of women from Monroe, man. I don't think that's really gonna narrow it down.
I'm just Monroe proud.
But all they gotta do is go on my gram.
Yeah, that's true.
But and continue growing with y'all. I want better podcast episodes. We have some, we all have some things going together.
Yeah.
We also have hit up Infinity Photo Booths for all your photo booth needs. We got the photo booth company together.
That's
a couple of us on here.
Infinity Photo Booths LLC.
So I want to continue to grow with my boys. I want to see all y'all flourish. Not only do I want to flourish, I want to see y'all hitting all y'all's goals, and I'm going to push y'all to hit those goals. Anybody that I affiliate with, I want to see them hitting things that they want to do. And I'm the person that's going to get on your nerves because I'm going to say, what did you do to reach your goal today?
GP? We're a
Man,
month in, brother.
I can attest to that. You know, Ruff and I were both taking the course to be the real estate selling course, real estate agent course.
Okay.
I'd say.
You finished the course?
I finished the course in January. I haven't taken the test yet, but I will take the test in February, and I'll also be a licensed real
All right,
estate
y'all.
agent.
We got a second one coming soon.
We holding you to that.
Coming soon.
Man, I already
We
know.
will be following up on the podcast about that, man. We're gonna hold you
Absolutely.
accountable.
And the motivation behind that was because, you know, like our parents, they worked 30 years, they retired, and they just chilled. In today's day and age, that type of lifestyle don't work, right? So I want to create multiple income streams.
Okay.
So that's one of the things I wanted to do. I'm also looking to get, I'm shopping certifications right now. I'm going to get additional certifications. I've been in the telecom industry so long, and I've learned a lot about technology. It's time for me to take that to the next level as well.
These certifications that you're targeting, what will they allow you to be able to do that you're not already doing?
Well, it'll be able to allow me to transition into some IT stuff.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because I've learned a lot about the internet and fiber optics and the way things work and operating systems over the course of my career. So there's a way I feel like, you know, I can have a better work-life balance, and I can also command a bigger salary if I make myself a little bit more marketable.
All right, big dog, just don't hack me after you get through learning all this stuff, man.
Man, I already got all your information, so I ain't gonna worry about that.
That's really true.
So
How's your relationship life going, brother?
well, you know, I'm just focusing on me, man. There's so many things I want to do, so I'm not really trying to force a relationship because I've done that in the past. That don't work either. So, you know, if I have fun, I get to know some different people, and if things if things progress, I'm with it. But if not, that's fine too. Because I also want to bring back my sports podcast and make that a little better. I felt like it got stale.
Right.
Gotcha.
So overall, if you want to talk about my relationship goals, I think something I had to switch up is now if I meet someone, I just genuinely just try to get to know her. I don't really place my own expectations on her, which I've done in the past, and I just take my time and chill now.
Oh,
so that's something.
So you have a little interest now?
You know, I
You
got
said you're not placing no expectations.
Well, I got, you know.
Don't mean to put you on the spot there, brother. I'm not asking a number.
I don't have any.
That's-
I don't have anyone that y'all have to worry about me getting into a relationship with.
We're not-
What you
at
mean?
this
We're
time.
not worried about it.
We're
We
not
not worried about it,
encourage
but
We're not
you know what
worried
I'm
about it,
saying?
man. We want to celebrate, your
That's
happiness,
what I'm
man.
saying, but it's not like something I'm about to pop up with in the
All
next
right.
couple weeks.
Well,
That's what I'm trying to
sound
say.
like you're doing pretty good a month in. Well, first of all, Stan, we all know that, you've been recently promoted.
Yeah.
So we just want to congratulate you
Congratulations on that one,
Appreciate
brother.
it.
Big
on that. You
help.
done came in 2019 up already.
Hey, appreciate it, man. Yeah, that was one of my goals for the year. My wife and I, we did vision binders where we listed out certain things. So we had like relationship goals, personal goals, health goals, business goals, and we kind of did our own list, and then we kind of came together to discuss it. But like some personal goals of mine, I want to read more. I don't necessarily have the time to sit down and read, so I'm big into audiobooks. So I've made it a point to get back into, like last year I was reading mostly or listening to mostly books about business and real estate and stuff like that. And while that's good and I enjoy it from the knowledge standpoint, it's not something I just truly really I would say love to read about all the time. I just read about it because it's necessary to know. But I'm also making sure I get back into reading about history, since that was always my favorite subject growing up. So, like right now, I'm reading the book about Born a Crime by Trevor Noah, and it's talking about his life in South Africa during apartheid and then after apartheid. So, so that has been pretty interesting. And I think the next book I'm gonna read is a book on King Leopold and his atrocities in the Congo and Africa. So just trying to mix a few different things in. Also going to get back on the grind to take the CPA exam. So trying to line these. I got to take a few more courses, but I'll probably line it up so I can take the CPA exam at some point this year or early next year. Get a new truck. Spend more time with my godson this year. Health goals. I'm in pre-hypertension ranges as far as blood pressure goes. So I'm trying to, maintain a certain level with that. I work out all the time, so it's kind of hard trying to find a challenge.
He's trying to bench 500 this year.
Nah, bro, it ain't even about that. I didn't change the work. I didn't change the workout up a little bit, trying to maintain my body weight, get my body fat down like 7% or something like that, 6%.
Still forming his dad body.
And just maintain general health. Drink like 1.5 gallons of water. As far as relationship goes, just remembering to show that appreciation. So maintaining the date nights. During the week, trying to do like a nice little romantic dinner, that stuff throughout the month. Get cards or just a little reminder. Just to stay on point with it basically, and not to get complacent and let it slack.
That's a good man.
Yeah, but that's just some as far as business. Do better with the podcast. We're gonna do more events this year. Some more Biscuits and Bourbons events coming this year.
Coming soon.
Right.
Real soon. Biscuits and Bourbon.
Just grow the business, get more into real estate, help the investment group grow, Infinity Photo Booths.
They didn't know about the investment group.
Right. So, yeah, man, like everybody said so far, just, develop multiple streams of income and just continue to better myself in all ways. So, so far, I think I'm starting the new year off right, sticking to my goals for the most part.
What about you, Jay?
All right. And we've been seeing a lot of advertisement on social media.
That boy pushing hard.
Right, and I've been liking that, man. Bet on Brown.
Well, I'm gonna talk about that in a minute. The first thing I address, I heard Stan mention it, health. For 2019, health is really important to me. I'm having the first of 2 surgical procedures next week. It's just really important to me to be able to be healthy, to be able to work out regularly again. You can make all the money in the world,
right?
But if you can't enjoy it because you too hurt, you too broke up, you too sick, that's no life to live.
Right.
So I know my main priority, at least one of them, is to get healthy, and I've already started working on that, and I think once I get to about May, then I'm gonna be able to start really digging in as far as just blowing this year out of the water.
Right.
And as far as business, absolutely, man. I just noticed that I wasn't fully taking advantage of social media. I wasn't posting nearly enough. I locked in my little usernames, and then I was just kind of chilling. So I hope y'all have, those of you that's been seeing the advertisements, I hope you like them. I've been working on them and producing them myself. And of course, if you've been hurt, injured, car accident, hit me up. We'll take very good care of you at the law office of Harry R. Brown Jr.
Lawyers always got the nice plug at the end of the commercial. It just flows so seamlessly.
If I get in the wreck, I knew who I'm calling.
Self-improvement, man. Just like Stan said, I'm reading, but I'm reading different stuff now.
Right.
I'm reading about different tips on alleviating stress, on being present in the moment, on staying healthy, things that matter. I just turned 35, and I'm looking at some people that's, like 20 years older than me. Some people are 65 out here looking 40. some people are 65 out here looking 85.
Right.
So I don't want to be the 85 person.
Right.
So I'm doing that. Plus, I'm trying to keep my mind sharp. So I'm always looking at investing. You know, I've been interested in real estate for a long time, ever since I picked up Rich Dad, Poor Dad for the first time back in undergrad. And I'm just excited about what 2019 has to offer. From a relationship standpoint, I'm hoping to get out the game in 2019.
Why you still in the game?
Well, you gotta get.
Well, you got to get the right candidate,
right.
bro.
Yeah.
You just can't jump out.
You can't just be like, man, I'm done over there by yourself.
I believe in taking my time
Right.
and making sure that I find the right situation.
It ain't the right situation. It's the right person.
The right person to
The
be
right
in
person
the
ain't
right
the same
situation with
I'm
semantics.
just messing with him. I'm just messing with him.
I've seen too many people that are stuck in a miserable situation, you know, that are suffering through it because they can't afford to get divorced, because they want to hang in there for the kids. I'm not.
People that's not even there yet with the families and just want somebody because they want somebody.
Yeah. I'm not desperate to be loved. I am hoping
Right.
for love, but I'm not desperate.
To be loved.
You know, that's a difference.
That's a major difference.
Absolutely.
Oh, what a feeling.
And, you know, we want to hear some of the landmarks that y'all have met in your first month of 2019.
Definitely.
You know, we're going to definitely put it out there, and we hope that on Instagram, y'all will hit us up. We want to hear about your successes in January of 2019. And for those of you that got a late start on whatever your goals were, we are only a month in. You still got plenty of time. Don't panic. Sit down, start making you a plan, and let's execute next week.
Right.
Let's get it going. Absolutely. I'm fired up.
I get my ancestry DNA test.
I was just,
That's
you
one of
just
my goals.
reminded me that's going to be our first giveaway. We're going to figure out how we're going to give this away. But me personally, I'm going to do it.
No.
I'm going to do the giveaway for somebody to get their ancestry DNA
You know what?
on the
too?
pot. On,
We gotta see which one we gonna use because there's a black-owned one.
I
There's
mean
a
the black
one.
one when it's my ancestry or something, huh?
Our
ancestry.
African
My
ancestry.
African ancestry.
So yeah, we're gonna do the black one because we're talking about buying black. So
Pay attention, y'all.
if you want to find out where you're from, because we're talking about accountability and tracing our history, then be tuned Tuesday when we drop this episode. So if you're listening to this now, if you listen to the end of the episode, some trivia will follow where you can win a chance to trace your ancestry.
You know, and something else I didn't say too. I definitely got to do a better job in 2019 of utilizing my network, and everybody listening should do the same.
I always tell you that, bro.
You do. So, you know, if there's something, if you have a plan or if you have questions, let somebody know, and that way you never know who that person may know or who that person may know. Just always never be afraid to ask, because a closed mouth don't get fed.
That's true, but also people have to be willing to help people.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
That's
yes.
key. So you can ask, but the person has to be willing to help.
Right.
So people need to put their foot out there and be willing to help the next man or
Correct.
next woman.
All right, y'all. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with our black prominent figure. It's the first one of February, and we're going to give it to you right after this.
You know your credit score bad. I'm not proud to be on the Starbucks page. That's solid quality time. Right. Why is Steve Harvey still writing books when it's Wait a minute. Like, if I want you, I ain't saying you to Waffle House at 2 a.m. Cause you bullshit. Hey, look, I care about you. We going to Waffle House.
We back, y'all, and we black, y'all, and we got the black.
It's biggity black and
Biggity,
I'm black,
biggity,
y'all.
biggity. Prominent figure.
Take your black
figure.
card.
Come on, GP.
Man, we gonna talk about one, Haile Selassie. And Haile Selassie was an Ethiopian emperor. And most of y'all may not know, but Ethiopia was one of the first countries to declare independence from colonized Africa, and he led the Ethiopians to victory over the Italians that occupied their country.
Shout out.
Awesome, man. Look, we've laid a lot of really deep stuff on you today. But if you don't leave with anything else, leave with this.
When the chips are down, baby,
No,
call
man.
Harry Brown.
I'm not finna do a shameless self-plug right now.
Harry Brown.
I did it.
I'm trying to be positive.
When the
Bet
chips
on
are
Brown.
down, I mean, that's positive.
Y'all.
You gonna get them help.
Let's help each other. Let's support each other. Please don't forget about finding that one product that you know you need routinely. You use it all the time. It could be shaving cream, bath soap, whatever. Find you a black distributor, store owner, manufacturer, and start buying that product.
Look, I'm talking to our black engineer right now. Trey, go ahead and fade in "We Are the World." Go ahead and fade that song in right there.
Sing a song.
That's not "We Are the World."
Omni Cosmetics.
Black owned cosmetics.
Say it, say it.
I'm unique.
I'm Unique. Check out I'm Unique Cosmetics. It's a black cosmetic company. What's the IG handle?
Yeah, they on the ground.
AME Unique
AM
Cosmetics.
AME Unique Cosmetics on IG.
That's it.
And of course, you can always find Shag Ruffin for your photography needs at
Hold on, at Mosaic by MG. But I do have a studio dropping this year that's a Chroma, ACHROMA. It's a studio that any photographer, any influencers can come in and get your headshots done. But not only that, for your hair care and natural needs, we need you to check out S Naturals. That's my man Stan and his
doubt.
wife's business there.
Support the
It's
wifey.
ESSE Naturals on Instagram and Twitter.
And you can always check out the law office of Harry R. Brown Jr. Bet on Brown, y'all. Or when the chips are down, you know
Call
what
Harry
to do.
Brown. That's it.
That is at HR Brown Law. That's HR Brown LAW on IG.
And before we go, there's gonna be some big things coming out from Becknell Media this year too.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, that's the IG.
That's the IG handle at Becknell Media.
And of course, use us for all your memorable moments at Infinity Photo Booths LLC.
We got a lot of plugs today. Boy, we got some businesses over
We're the hardest working podcasters in 2019.
Well, we're gonna need a power strip.
And we're
for all
going to give it
these
to you all year round. All right, everybody.
Bye.
We're out.
plugs. And subscribe.
You know your credit score bad. I'm not surprised you on the That's solid quality time. Why is Steve Harvey still rated